Hello, and welcome to the Texas Veterans Commission Hazelwood Act Exemption homepage. On this page, you're going to find all of the requirements needed for you to complete the Hazelwood application exemption for the Hazelwood benefit and submit that application, proof of your online database registration, to the school, the college, or the university that you will be attending. Let us begin with the first portion that must be accomplished, and that is the establishment of the veteran's eligibility. On the Hazelwood Act homepage, which is designated here at tvc.texas.gov, the Hazelwood Act homepage is broken down into veteran, child, which is the legacy in this case, and child with own hours, and spouse, as depicted by these three action buttons. To scroll down, you'll determine the first and most important aspect, which is determining the veteran's qualification. All eligibility will be derived by the veteran's qualification. In short, the veteran must have entered the service from the home of records or the place of entry into active duty, or as a resident of Texas, completed over 181 days of active federal service after initial entry training, and have received an honorable or general under honorable conditions discharge. That must be expressed on an appropriate DD 214. All of the requirements are labeled here, and each and every one must be met. The Hazelwood application process for the veteran is in the second portion, which is again labeled by the bold print Hazelwood Act application process. Again, the veteran must meet all of these 5 requirements. Determining the institution eligibility for the Hazelwood Act, we provide a hyperlink. This hyperlink will take you to College for All Texans. At the College for All Texans website, you may look at the public institutions, the universities, community college, health-related, technical college, and state colleges. Independent or private institutions are not eligible for the Hazelwood Act exemption. Returning back to the Hazelwood Act homepage, you may also look to determine the Legacy Act or Legacy Program for a child of the veteran. A child of the veteran must meet these requirements, but most importantly, remember, the veteran must meet all eligibility requirements to be able to pass that benefit to a legacy child. The legacy child must then meet all of the specified requirements as depicted here, and the most important are be under the age of 20, have not achieved your 26th birthday, be under the age of 26. Remember, legacy child must always maintain satisfactory academic progress, and the GPA requirements are absolute for the benefit to be used. The Legacy Act application process is the next portion under. You'll see those qualifications and how that is also done. Now, there is also a criteria for the Hazelwood Act for a spouse or for a child. We refer to this as child with own hours. These are very unique qualifications. We'll begin with the spouse. The spouse may be eligible if the veteran is determined to have died in combat or died in the line of duty, have a DD 1300, vice a DD 214, have been killed in action or is determined to be missing in action, or, and this is the important piece with most of our veterans who have separated, the veteran must be assessed at 100% total and permanent on the VA disposition letter that the veteran will receive. He or she must be 100% total and permanent disability or individually unemployable for the veteran to transfer the same benefit that the veteran receives to the wife and to the child. More than one child may use the benefit if the veteran is assessed at 100%. All of the veteran's children are eligible if the veteran is killed in action, missing in action, has died as a result of wounds or injury from the service and as a service-connected death or loss, or The veteran has been determined 100% total and permanently disabled or individually employable. In that case, all of the children and the spouse are eligible for the identical benefit the veteran receives, the 150 semester credit hours, and the time does not expire. There is no expiration on that benefit. Those specific requirements are labeled under Hazelwood Act for spouse and child. You'll see two different categories, spouse and child. Remember, all of these are based, first and foremost, on the veteran's eligibility. The application for the spouse and child are at the very bottom of the page. We're going to go back up shortly and review the call-out buttons, which will give you shortcuts to each of the benefits, or each of the criteria of the benefit. For additional information, at the very bottom of the page, we have our Texas Education Code 5434, Texas Education Code 54 TAC 2001, and the Texas Veterans Commission Chapter 461 rules. These are the rules which govern the conduct and the use of the Hazelwood Act. Scrolling all the way back to the top, we'll talk about some of the call-out buttons. We recommend whenever you're beginning the very first use of the Hazelwood Act, begin here with the application tutorial. This application tutorial is made truly to be cookbook simple. We designed this application tutorial for you to be able to use at your home, sitting in front of a laptop computer at the kitchen table with all the information that you're going to be required to submit to the school found on this application. The application is referred to as the 5 quick steps to apply for the Hazelwood Act exemption. Step 1, we've already shown you how to get here, and that's going through either the education call-out button on our menu bar or going to the Hazelwood Act and the quick links. Step 1, as we've repeated before, is review the applicant's eligibility. The veteran must be eligible for any subsequent benefit to be transferred or for a veteran to use the benefit. So step 1 is review the eligibility, determine the eligibility, and then begin the application process. To determine the application process, we'll go to the second button. Directly to the right of the application tutorial, you'll find the application. The Hazelwood application is actually only 2 pages long. Page 1 of 1, identified as TVC Ed-1A or 1 Alpha, is in fact the supporting documents and the instructions. When you read through this, ensure you understand which numbered item and the corresponding item in the application apply to you. For example, if you are a service member and a veteran who is separated from service, and you separated prior to 2001, then you do not require, nor does your dependent require, a certificate of eligibility, which would be a VA Form 22-1990E, or what you'll receive from the VA as that certificate of eligibility. It specifies the certificate of eligibility is required if you meet these requirements. However, if a veteran's final discharge is prior to 9/11/2001, the certificate of eligibility is not required. It will also tell you if the veteran has died while in service, if the veteran is deceased, if the veteran is totally disabled or individually unemployable, which portions of the application you'll fill out. If these do not apply to you, you'll leave them blank or you'll not fill those portions in. Remember, as you're working through the application, you're going to be required to provide to the school, not to the TVC and not to the Department of Veterans Affairs, but to the college or university that you're attending, at the actions and the application and the information required, to include, in some cases, birth certificates and marriage certificates, certainly for those children which are stepchildren or adopted children, and you may be required to provide recent income tax returns if it is a grandparent claiming as the child as a dependent. When you work your way all the way through these, you'll come to item 9, We'll talk about item 9 in a moment, but that is the Hazelwood online database registration. The actual application, as we said, is only 2 pages long. tvc.ed for education, .1. And that is the most important piece. You're looking at the effective June 2014, page 1 of 2, and there are only 2 pages. If you have an older form, you'll find 7 or 9 pages. Do not use this. Use the form provided at www.tvc.texas.gov/documents. It'll take you through to get you to the Hazelwood Act application. When you're completing this, again, we're going to emphasize this for the 4th time. Please ensure you're submitting this application to your college or university. If you submit it to us, we will try our best to contact you to let you know that it must go to the school. But we will not process it. Only the school may process the application, and the school is the one who will actually allow and grant the exemption. You'll fill this out with fall for the term, the year, and if you're applying as a veteran, the first block is checked. A child intending to receive a legacy transfer, the second block. If you're using it for the first time, the first block of the 2, and if you've used it previously, the second, and how many hours have been used. Remember, you're going to look at the total prior hours used for the veteran or for the legacy. If you're not a spouse because your veteran is not 100% or individually unemployable or has been killed in action, then you will not have any to fill in these hours. The veteran's information goes in Part A. The legacy transfer, or in this case, in some cases, the child with own hours or spouse, will go in Part B. Part C is a simple yes or no. If you have defaulted on a loan, then you would check yes and explain why. If you have not, then you would check only the first block. When you'll get to Part D, the Veteran, Child, and Spouse Certificate of Consent, this allows us to track you through the online database by your first name, last name, date of birth, and Social Security number on the hours that have been used at the institutions of higher education. The Legacy Certification and Consent in Part E ensures that you understand as the veteran that you may only pass this benefit to 1 child at a time. No child may ever exceed 150 hours, and they may never exceed the 150 hours that you have provided them. You may not use it at any time that you have transferred that benefit to a child. Only 1 person may use another individual's legacy transfer at a time. Once you've completed the application, you'll come down to the online database. That was number 9 in the items of the instruction. The online database is for the Hazelwood and veteran students. Both a veteran and a legacy child will both have to register with separate accounts. To begin the registration process, simply click the register button and complete this form. Once you've completed this form, you will then hit register, found at the bottom of the page. You are 1/3 done. Once you've hit the register button, you will go to the web email address that you provided. You will receive a message from the TVC, which you will have to click and activate your account. On the email from us, you will see a hyperlink, which will say click this hyperlink to register, to activate your account. Once you've activated your account, it will tell you you may now sign in. Once you have signed into your account at the online database, which you would do here at the login, it will show you the total standard and legacy hours used. If the first time you've ever signed in and you've never used any hours, it will say 0 because you have not used any hours. The key term is standard and legacy hours used is 0 if you've never used it. If you've used 50 hours in a community college or a university, then it'll say standard and total legacy hours used 50, which would then allow you to have 150 remaining. Remember, 150 semester credit hours is the maximum amount available for any veteran or legacy or child with own hours or spouse. Returning back to the Texas Veterans Commission Hazelwood Act homepage, on the left side you'll also find additional information. The Hazelwood frequently asked questions are the same frequently asked questions in this call-out box. It'll also tell you other issues and information regarding the Montgomery GI Bill, post 9/11 GI Bill benefits, the Fry Scholarship, on-the-job training, GI Bill approved programs, and how to apply to train veterans. You may reach us through the education contacts. When you find the education contacts, you'll find us here at the state headquarters. You'll also find Hazelwood specialists and education coordinators. Please feel free to call us at any point if there are any questions that we may help. Thank you for your time, and we look forward to serving you as you continue your education. Thank you.